Hello, it's Nick here from PlanetReport.net. I'm going to talk a bit about why the dodo went extinct. Now, you've all probably heard of the dodo. It was a large bird that lived on the island of Mauritius, which is 1,200 miles east of Africa. It was first discovered in 1598 by Dutch sailors. It was a large bird, up to a metre in height. It was flightless, and it also nested on the ground. It had no natural predators. It was described as having greyish or brownish plumage with lighter primary feathers and a tuft of curly light feathers high on its rear end. The head was grey and naked, the beak green, black and yellow, and the legs were stout and yellowish with black claws. The first written mention of the dodo was by a Dutchman called Van Warwick in 1598, and he described the bird as follows. Blue parrots are very numerous there, as well as other birds, among which are a kind conspicuous for their size, larger than our swans, with huge heads, only half covered with skin, as if clothed with a hood. These birds lack wings, in the place of which 3 or 4 blackish feathers protrude. The tail consists of a few soft incurved feathers, which are ash-coloured. These we used to call Wegelvogel, for the reason that the longer and oftener they were cooked, the less soft and more insipid eating they became. Nevertheless, their belly and breast were of pleasant flavour and easily masticated. And then another man called Sir Thomas Herbert, in his travel writings in 1634 wrote, First here an onion digorius is generated the dodo, which for shape and rareness may antagonize the phoenix of Arabia. Her body is round and fat, few weigh less than 50 pound. It is reputed more for wonder than for food. Greasy stomachs may seek after them, but to the delicate they are offensive and of no nourishment. Her visage darts forth melancholy, as sensible of nature's injury in framing so great a body to be guided with complemental wings so small and impotent that they serve only to prove her bird. In other words, as I said, it was flightless, so it wasn't going anywhere fast with them little, the wings were basically hopeless. The half head of her head is naked, seemingly covered with a fine veil. Her bill is crooked downwards. In midst is the thrill, from which part to the end tis a light green mixed with pale yellow tincture. Her eyes are small and like to diamonds, round and rolling. Her clothing downy feathers. Her train 3 small plumes, short and proportional. Her legs suiting her body. Her pounces sharp. Her appetite strong and greedy. Stones and irons are digested, which description will better be conceived in her representation. I think from what other things I've read, it used to eat stones to help its digestion, which is what some birds do. Unfortunately, the last sighting of the dodo was just in less than a century later, in 1662. And the next big question is, why did it go extinct? Well, it's thought it went extinct. Obviously, the arrival of man was the problem, because man brought rats on the ship. It brought pigs, cats, and probably dogs, and a lot of these went feral on the island and spread across the island. And as I said, the dodo was a flightless bird, so they would eat the eggs and probably the chicks sometimes as well. Well, they only had 1 egg per breeding season apparently, so as you can imagine, this led to a huge decline in the numbers, because if you only have 1 egg a year and it's getting eaten by rats, then therein lies the problem. And humans used to apparently approach them without any problem. They used to fight back a bit and peck with their beaks, I think, a bit, but it was very easy to approach them because they had no fear, they had no ingrained fear of anything because they just didn't have any predators. So that was a problem, but from what I've read, it wasn't so much the hunting of them for meat and for food, it was more the things they brought with them, such as the rats and other animals. So it was last sighted in 1662, And apparently at the time, scientists of that era never thought an animal like a god's creature could go extinct. So they just wouldn't believe that an animal on Earth could actually vanish completely. So for a long time they thought they might still be out there, but obviously they weren't. And there was some brought back to, like living dodos were apparently brought back to Europe, and there's writings of a few people in London seen a dodo in the streets of London, and a few other different places around the world that got sent, but whether they all survived by the time they got there remains to be seen. But there were also stuffed dodos and skeletons, but again, because these scientists thought things couldn't go extinct, the people that did have the samples and the stuffed dodos didn't care for them and just didn't think they were that important. So most of them just completely got lost. So all people were left with was a few bones here and there. But over the years, they have found some more bones in Mauritius. So now, for example, in the Natural History Museum in London, you can actually see a skeleton of a dodo, but it's actually made up of bones from numerous different dodo birds. But it's considered to be one of the great examples of a large animal going extinct, and one of the early examples of a species extinction. So that's why the dodo went extinct. If you would like to subscribe to PlanetReport.net, click the subscribe button and the bell. I think you have to click on that to get the notifications. Okay, that's enough for now. See you later. Bye.